Great spirits of the north, entrance to the mental realm and the element of air. Please be present to clear our minds of any worries, any stresses, any burnout. We know that this energy can really relax in the body and allow more truth and light to come in. So bring that and bring in the animal kingdom, the tree, the four-leggeds, the creepy crawlers, the swimmers, and the winged ones, and the mythical creatures. I'm listening to a book called The Woman in the Alabaster Jar, and I just listened to this chapter on the unicorn and all of the symbology with sacred union, Eros Gamos, and this idea of the unicorn laying its lap on the Magdalene, and the Magdalene is the ultimate feminine figure, and then the unicorn mythology is live and present. And if you want to look up and more on that, medieval unicorn energy is no joke. Thank you, North. Great spirits of the West, entrance to the spiritual realm and the element of fire. Here we're rising like rising like a phoenix into the ashes, and simply becoming aware of this new moon and full moon energy, bringing us in more naturally to cycles of life, of our moods, especially for women and all people moving forward. Like, there are ascension symptoms happening. There is energy downgrade or upgrading, downgrading, whatever you want to call it. And so both male-bodied and female bodies are going to be experiencing various levels of emotional upheaval. And, you can call it hormonal, or you can call it just the surfacing of what needs to be released. But the spirits are here to burn that up through witnessing, calling in all of the ancestors to guide us in what is ultimately generational healing and taking us to a quote unquote promised land. And, when I get in this space, I can be kind of corny with my words, and I'm just going to allow that to be that, because that's what we need right now. Great spirits of the South, entrance to the emotional realm and the element of water. Here we're learning to go with the flow and be with the flow, and really choose where we're placing ourselves in the river. That if we place ourselves in the right place, it can be really smooth sailing. If we place ourselves too close to the edges where there's more rocks and more obstacles, we're more likely to get caught up. So the teaching is something about pulling ourselves to the center, keeping the center, and allowing the flow to be natural and smooth, that it can be easy. That's what I'm calling it, is more ease. And the plant kingdom, the trees, the shrubs, the grasses, the flower, and our medicine plants to be present. So grateful for your beauty and your food, your shelter. May you continue to nourish us. Thank you, South. Great spirits of the West, entrance to the physical realm and the element of earth. Here we're learning to be in this physical world and understanding that we are the ones we've been waiting for. It's really up to us to reprogram our mind and our body to continuously redirect. I've had Buddhist teachers that describe it as herding puppies. The mind, the negativity, the worry, the stress, it just comes and we go down the rabbit hole. And so it's like, as soon as we can recognize it, after 30 seconds, after a minute, sometimes after 10 minutes, it's just like, oh, okay, coming back to the breath, back to the body, back to the physical me that I actually have control over. Thank you, West. Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, we're so grateful to be experiencing our enlightenment to a certain extent. Who knows how far we'll go? So bringing in that vibes of grounding down what has been prophesized for a very long time. I mean, it's happening, people. It is what it is. So let's make the most of it. Father Sky, Star Nation, Star Beings, all of everyone's spirit guides, everyone's ancestors, please be present here as we share our wins in this turbulent times. There's a lot going on in the world, and I don't want to dictate too much what this space becomes, but it doesn't need to be a place to talk about all the negativity going on in the outside world. Now, we are going to have a challenges or a wishes type of thing where if there's stuff coming up in your personal life that is relevant, obviously share it. But like all of the political and social violence, all that stuff that's happening, let's just all choose to believe that this is the surfacing of the shadow of the masculine, of this patriarchal energy, and that we can just lovingly witness it from the side. And we don't have to be the ones that are getting involved in all that drama, because it doesn't serve anyone. And so we're changing our energy. We're changing where we're looking to change the vibration. I mean, we got this. I don't know what it looks like, but it's all gonna be fine. Is what it is. Okay. That's it. We're in. Okay, let's just, so this is kind of our prayers, right? We're sharing our wins. We're expressing our gratitude to the universe, to the source, to whatever's showing up in your life, whatever your guiding force is. Obviously, this group is this non-denominational spiritual vibe. So who knows where it's going to grow. We're talking about energy, and I've been talking a lot about the chakras up until now. And now I'm getting more into the triad, the body, mind, spirit, and masculine, feminine body, masculine mind. And then the spirit is this inner child. And so we all need to start bringing in this inner. I know that a lot of people all of you, we've talked about the masculine and the feminine, and now bringing in a little bit more of this inner child into our life might be fun for us. So who wants to share some wins first? Just somebody.
I can share a win. So, I think for me, the win is using my voice more. Definitely been in that space of speaking what I need, speaking what's there for me. I'm still working on the not taking personally the reaction on the other side. But also just it comes from a space of me shining compassion on myself first. And then kind of discovering what's on the other side of it from being that space, like standing for that. So that's a win. That's been a win lately. Yeah.
I agree. You said a key word and I lost it, but I feel like I want everyone to go around and share, and then I want to comment on a whole about what you say. But I was reaching for my paper and I forgot. But I know when it's time to say something, it'll be relevant.
Yeah.
Using your voice is the key to all of this. And it is discomfort, and loving what arises is definitely the key.
Yeah.
I like this, enjoying silence. Okay, good. Yes, go.
A win for me has been, I feel like it's going to be less nebulous, but just a win for me is that over the past 3 weeks, my partner and I have been able to work on a house project together. Something that I've avoided like the plague, and then I created doing it, and a lot of stuff's come up around it, and we completed phase 1 of it, where I've completed my phase of it. And another win is it's been in my space to spend more time and be closer to my kids, and in little over a week a tentative agreement has been brokered with my partner around making that happen, and I was able to secure a space to live for the next 6 months when I spend more time up with my kids. So, and it literally just magically happened. I was like, type type in message, first person was like, oh yeah, that really sounds great. And like it's not a financial stress, which is going to be amazing.
That makes me really happy. And I'm not surprised. So Matt just started the program, the online do it yourself, but we did the first session live because there was all these like issues with the online program. And you were very clear on what your desires were, which was to repair the relationship with your son, whatever that means for you. And I think it's not surprising at all. Like, okay, I know I have to figure out how to like explain this stuff totally neutrally. We're learning that when we go for what we want in our heart, what we know we need, what is important, what is true, nothing can be lost. What's for you will always be for you. That it's very much like if you love something, set it free. And it's very much that way in your life. It'll make it very much easier, especially those of you that are just starting this program. And Natalie knows this really well, that things, I mean, how many times did things change? Just like thing. And so just not being attached and like really kind of, to the best of your ability, enjoying the ride and the surprises and the wins, but then there's no attachment to that letting go. So I really commend, it's a big change, right? To like choose that you're going to change where you live and like uproot and stuff. And so that's totally root chakra, but going back to your son is like totally makes sense for this type of generational healing. So I'm excited to be a part of your journey, and welcome to the Cosmic Rose community. Miss Natalie, what do you have for wins?
So I'm starting week 4 of a brand new job with a new company, and going into it, I was feeling like really anxious, but I think I met with Lynn like day 2 of my job. And I acknowledged that I had a little bit of like PTSD from my previous company and that I worked with, and I've just kind of come in and just like really like gone with the flow, and I feel like I've been very intentional about getting to know people and like doing a good job and not letting the like all the little things that I used to get really spun up around. Like, I just kind of was like, oh, it's okay. It's all good. This is all going to work out. This is all happening for a reason. And so I think I'm just, and it's almost like Lynn told me, like, oh, you're going to just go in there and you're just going to be yourself and you're going to trust that all the work you've done paid off. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Cause I have this tendency of just slipping back in. And so Lynn, thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. But I really believe that, like I've come such a long way, and I'm starting to really see that like 4 weeks into this job, I can look back and go, okay, this is going to be different. Not like it's a different job, or it has nothing to do with the job. Like it's just, I am approaching life and my work and how I tackle it, and even managing my family. I'm having to be away from my family a little bit in the beginning because I'm going to be remote, but in the beginning I'm not remote. So I'm traveling a little bit, and that has just, everything has worked out. So that's a huge win.
Yay. Yeah, I mean, it's just trusting the process, and the shift that happens in this program is permanent. And so I think having this 6 months of calls, meeting 2 times a month, is a really good observation of that. And then where people want to go next is like, I still have to get you guys all initiated to Reiki. Like, I want that to be a part of it. So, and it's super easy online too. It's like, then you can just use it a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a whole thing. So that's exciting. That hotel looks pretty nice there.
Yeah, it's pretty
And-
nice.
Yeah. And you know, had wanted that like alone time. So
Right. And now I'm getting plenty of it and I'm loving it.
and
I
that
have
is
two little ones, so
that's a theme in general of the divine feminine creating space, needing more space to discover herself. And when I say herself, I'm talking about the feminine aspect in all bodies. Of course, it's kind of easier for women to tap into. It's kind of more obvious on some level. And so I guess for the masculine side in us, it's like a gift. Like if someone's asking you for space, then take that space for you and like be grateful, whatever that means, that we don't have to like constantly be worrying about what everyone else is doing because it's all going to be fine. Your kids are fine, your partners are fine, everyone loves everyone. Just like, let's just do this, you know? Okay. Let's do a quick little round of whether you want to, however you want to word it. I guess I would say wishes, and that wish could be like, if there is something, a challenge, if there, you know, it's like, we don't want to whitewash, like, oh, everything works out perfectly. Like we want to get to mindful living. And I heard a talk on this, and when I speak of mindfulness, I'm speaking of the not Buddhist, but the mind body connection. And there's a level of being aware of sensation on the body. I was listening to these founder CEOs, but like super, like working with super billionaire companies basically. And they were having a conversation about mindfulness. And one's like, what do you do for how do you cultivate mindfulness? I'm waiting for her to say that I sit and breathe for 5 minutes a day, or I walk in nature. And it was like, oh, I stay caught up on ChatGPT. And like, it was all about collecting more information. And it really seemed like it missed the mark. So we want to be aware of what's coming up in our life that is causing us to feel triggered so that we can put that out there. On some level, that's your prayer to your spirit to get sort of insight into why that's arising, how we can grow for that. Because when we know why something is continuing to create a certain sting in our body, we can ask for that awareness and then whatever. So that's the idea of these wishes. It doesn't have to be like airy fairy. It can be just like whatever you want to release, whatever you want to clear. Oh yeah, so we're going from the full moon to the new moon. So this is an energetic flow of releasing. And then maybe when we have our new moon calls, it'll be more about wishes that we want to release or receive, sorry. So let's share what we were trying to release for this full moon cycle. We'll just go in the same order, Miss Debbie. Would you please go first?
I will go first.
Take your time. Yeah.
Yeah, let me have a moment of what I'm releasing.
Me too. I have this exercise. I think we should all do it. It'll help it. So I'm taking this 6th sense superpower. I tell everyone, I think I've mentioned it, that Mind Valley is a really good annual $300 investment. There's just so much good stuff on there. And I'm taking a 6th sense superpower. And a quick way she suggests to tap into our intuition is to take a full belly breath. So you're coming in, filling the lower abdomen first, up to the chest, a full inhale, opening the mouth, and you'll hear like a click in your jaw, like a yawn. And then exhale, preferably with an audible sigh. And then just ask yourself from that space, what do I want to release? And allow it to come from within you. It might be something that makes you feel uncomfortable that you didn't know was there or don't want to mention or whatever. Like the deeper you can go to get it, I'll see what comes up for me too. So inhale, open, yawn with the click jaw, and
I'm releasing my walls around intimacy, physical intimacy, let's put it that way.
I'm working on that too, actually.
Mm.
Because we do attract what we put out. And it's like in my mind, I might feel like I'm open, but obviously I'm not. So amen. We can do this little corny thing. Like, these calls are engaging. If someone says something and you're with it, let's do this little sparkle hands. All right, Mr. Matt, what are you releasing?
I'm releasing that I'm making a really big mistake. And that's in all areas. It's just like I'm making a really big mistake.
Self-doubt is what I'm hearing. And I think we can all, especially when we're like stepping into a new level of intimacy with you. I mean, the best example is your son. There's many levels happening in many people's life, but that new level of intimacy, it's like, especially when you're the way shower, when you're the leader, there is this like somebody has to be the one to do things differently. And that requires some level of discomfort. But I feel like, I can't remember who it was. First chakra. No, I think it was, who did we just download play? Someone I don't remember. Anyway, we want to bring more play. We want to make this more playful. So that's the way to do it. Miss Natalie.
I feel like every time I think of what I need to release, it's the same thing. So I'm like always working on the same thing. Like, at what point do you release it and it's gone forever? But and it's always fear and anxiety over the future, like, and the unknown, and running through I typically run through a million scenarios, and then I try to pick the like most strategic or least, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I do that too. In fact, Matt and I were talking about this, I know what my first option is, but I'm spending a lot of time planning 2 and 3. But I do it less and less. And honestly, it is self-aware. It's taken me a lot. Like I took a couple of those hypnosis courses. Like it's deep. Let me explain. For the divine feminine, it really is the fear of being seen, of sharing your light, of being wise, of being like, we think it's just showing up in our world about like, oh, what's going to happen next. But you're logical enough to look around and know and see that your life is safe. And so I think it's really just like maybe even just having this conversation can be, because I've had that fear. So if I can with my power of my word, release that for all of us this tonight, that would be amazing. Because throughout my spiritual journey, I have felt psychic attacks. I have literally more than once feared for my life. The divine feminine energy that we're bringing forth has been, I just finished this Women with the Alabaster Jar, and the Cathars, the murdered, so that there's that underpinning fear, and that's all that is. And when you realize that it's not real and that you are more powerful than it, and that's the thing to remember about the new earth, is that energy is no longer powerful. You can choose to like look at it as like, oh, there's that shadow coming up again, like, but you're like the mama, like we're the creator. Like they took that from us, and whoever us is just like, it's the fullness of whatever the truth is. I feel like I have nothing to say about like other religions. It's more, I do believe most of them only have about half the truth. And so it's not about anyone else being wrong. It's just about opening up to these greater truths that are going to give us a little bit more insight into why we're getting stuck in certain places. And it even goes as far as like the Hieros Gamos, right? And the divine union between what I believe was likely Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And that was totally shamed and written out. And she was called a prostitute. And it was just so that we could redo it now. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But it's like nothing's bad. Nothing's wrong. It's this the awakening has to happen somehow. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So, okay, we're releasing some big stuff. So let's do that. So we already called in the space. So I was thinking I would just do like the 2 minutes per chakra, right? Because we know, especially when we're like sunk in and the words have been spoken, you don't need like all the time in the world. And I also want to impart that to you as well, that everybody's on a different spot in their journey and coming into their mastery. But I believe everyone in this presence has a spiritual master in them, is a spiritual master. And on some level, it's like you just get these 3 levels of Reiki and you can call yourself a spiritual master, but there's an education level of having a master's degree or whatever. So the point is like, you can transform the energy. So really let's go for little miracles here, you know. And Natalie, I know you have a lot going on in the other parts of your life that are contributing to that. And so may fear of the unknown, the ultimate fear of the unknown is fear of death, right? The ultimate fear of losing someone. Where do they go? And honestly, the fear of the people that anyone that dies, like at any point in time, everyone's is not specific to any person or story, but it's like the ones that really suffer are the ones that stay behind. And I really, truly, truly believe that. And so when my father was having his experience crossing over, I just manned up, and I don't even know, but it was so true to me that I knew that spirit had it, that it wasn't up to me, that my purpose was to learn to love unconditionally and be there fully for myself and hold space for this bizarre transformation of energy. And everything's going to be great, but it is like still like a lot. Everybody knows somebody who has something. Do you know what I mean? Like, really. I know multiple people that are on different journeys with chronic illnesses, and it's crazy. So that's real. And all we can do is love people through their journey and look at it as generational healing. A lot of these things that are popping up in people's bodies for various reasons, there's many reasons why it could be happening, and it doesn't really matter. It's not really my place to give voice to like why, but it can all be transformed in a generation. Do you know what I mean? Like, this new earth is coming, and there's part of the spiritual life is sacrifice. And so we don't know why some of our ancestors pick the paths that they pick, but it's to teach us something, you know, and it's for them to not have to go through all the heaviness of what is happening in the outside world, and they get to come back next time, chill a little bit. So I'm going to put this on while I share the sound. Will it work? I'm imagining my assistant doing my sound stuff. Okay, headphones and mic. So taking in a deep breath and imagining a red laser growing out of our root chakra all the way down to the center of the earth, clearing out anything that's not serving us, connecting us to this nurturing energy of Mother Earth. No matter what's going on in our life, always going out in nature is going to be beneficial. There's nothing that 5 minutes in nature won't help. You know, it may not like cure all wounds, but taking that breath. So feeling that red energy of Mother Earth coming up the body, filling up the legs all the way through the body. And then that golden laser shooting out of your head all the way to your soul star. And imagining roots growing out of your feet all the way to the center of the earth. Root chakra. Starting at the ankles, energy blocks known or unknown. So we set our wishes. We kind of know where energy is stagnant in our lives, the things that we're trying to release. My thing is obsessive thoughts about returning to the beloved. So all that we put in there, circling up and send it down the legs, out the feet. And then feeling that red energy coming in the ankles. Filling all those blocks with grounded safety and security. You know, letting go of intimacy or walls around intimacy. That requires safety and security. Packing up and moving. That requires safety and security. Having a new job, being away from your family. Helping your family navigate illness. That takes safety and security. Letting go of anxiety and stress is definitely safety and security. So feel this red energy coming in. What does it feel like to just be held for this 2 minutes in this safety and security? Feel it extending through every body. Maybe it's just subtle at first. It's hard to go from anxious to joyful in one single leap, and why would you want to? As we move up to the root chakra, and this is the core teachings of the Purpose Embodiment Method. When we're seeking purpose and meaning, we are seeking an embodied safety and security, and this is releasing our fight and flight. And so from the time of hunter-gatherers, from the time of getting dropped off from a spaceship, whatever you want to call it, we've been trying to make our way on this strange Mother Earth. And so now is a new earth. Now we're cared for. Now the feminine is awakening. We're starting to feel that energy. So circling up any old energy of fight and flight, any old stories, any old programs about needing to be on high alert. Imagine there's a portal at the center of the earth just circling with all the love, saying, I receive this for you. Releasing fear, releasing stress, releasing burnout. And now feel that ruby red energy coming in, and it is safe and secure. It's bright ruby red, traveling through every cell of the body, expanding every cell of the body, really looking at this like the deep, let's get deep, the royal red, the rose color, the Rosicrucians. It is a deeply protective energy. And so you can imagine a shield. Your root chakra is so powerful because you have this work that it is a shield to negativity. And that's just setting a boundary and being protective. That's not shutting out the world. That's not bypassing. Moving up to the second chakra. This orange energy. And intimacy is relevant for everyone. I just think in general, we're trying to create more intimate relationships in our lives. And this is for friendships. This is for work relationships. This is for obviously romantic relationships. And kind of redefining what intimacy is, that it's more of a heart and mind and soul connection than a purely physical connection. And that's really how we've been defining it for most time. When you think of intimacy, it's about physical intimacy. And so we are expanding, circling up and releasing any lower vibrational thought forms or program about what it means to be intimate with another. Down the legs, out the feet. And now feeling this new program coming right from your highest self, however it manifests in your life with your unique story. Feeling this orange energy coming in the chakra, second chakra, and expanding through every cell of the body. And honestly, across the board, more intimate connections. We're going to get up there, but just skipping ahead is this throat chakra. It's all about communication, and it's all about awkward communication that turns out to be not so awkward once it's initiated. So feeling that power in having intimacy, and that is with the mind, letting go of blame and shame. And when two people, I think we mentioned earlier the 4 agreements, when 2 people are engaged in these 4 agreements to the best of their ability, and you're just constantly thinking about it, you can get through anything. Because the other person can show up imperfect. The other person can say something wrong. The other person can maybe even be mean sometimes, because we're not taking it personally and we're not making assumptions, especially in male-female dynamics. We're so different. Like, let's just admit that. And so admitting that we can't really understand what another is experiencing and we can't make assumptions. And so now we're going to start communicating and using our words impeccably. And when everyone agrees to do that together, it's really easy. That book like really changed my life, and it has been one that I've gone back to many, many times. It's like super, super simple. Stamp of approval for the Ascension curriculum. As we are at the 3rd chakra, coming into your divine presence, and that really is finding ways to integrate spiritual teachings that resonate with you in a day-to-day experience, something that you're aware of, you know, not all the time, but like your code of conduct, your guiding light, your agreements with yourself. So any low-level agreements, any low-level point of view of the self, circle it up and send it down the legs, out the feet. And feeling this gold energy coming up, moving all the way to your heart. And feeling this green energy of self-love. I'm so grateful you're here, and I hope other people, you know, that keep coming in, really feel that this is a nourishing time that people want to come to. Because it is self-love and it's healing, and sharing is caring. This is a mastermind. This is you know, when we all are kind of like acknowledging where we're going and what we're doing and what's real for us, we can as a group heal. So circling up anything in your field keeping you from the ultimate of self-love, whatever that looks like for you, down the legs, out the feet. We're starting to trust ourselves. We're starting to trust our highest self. That you are good. I mean, that's a whole other program that's under the blame and shame. You know, there's lifetimes where you were attacked for being good, and then there's lifetimes where you weren't so good. So we have this program. We all have misused power. So we also have this program of like, I'm not good enough on the deep, deep, deep level. So if we have that program present, which I can feel it, let's circle it up. Any programs of like not loving the self for past life wrongs, we circle up and release down the legs and out the feet. And we have many, many infinite past lives, but you know, there's people that do past lives readings. I don't really do that necessarily, but like, I can tell you that you have a couple past lives that are like the most relevant themes. So if there is themes that are coming up again and again and again, I mean, at this point, you have the intuition with tarot, with other, things. As long as they're rooted in life, you can get the information you need to learn a lot more about your psyche. Know thyself. Up to the throat chakra. That blue light, I've talked so much about how communication is a key in this. So imagining this blue light circling up. And this is where we get to have our voice. I invite you just a little, especially if you have your mic on, let it out, a little gentle ha or a ha. But just letting out an audible exhale, clearing out all that stagnant energy of not being able to speak your truth. Like, people are ready to hear what you want to have to say. Your loved ones can handle it. And you can handle anything that anyone has to say to you. So if there are any conversations that are popping up, any relationships that need a little clearing, any letting go of, anything that pops to mind, usually somebody should pop in, say, hey, work with me. Circle up any blocks to more clear communication with that person. Because remember, I really truly believe this, that they're just a reflection of you, like on the deepest level, like nobody is separate. They're you. So you learn how to communicate in the way you want to be communicated with, and it'll be perfect for them. Moving up to the third eye. So I'm listing again, the woman with the alabaster jar. This episode has been brought to you by that and the Four Agreements. And they talk about the tarot as the trump, and there's all this mythology in it. And of course, there's some people that think that tarot and oracle is like the devil's work. And, there was Doreen Virtue, who like had all these amazing tarot decks, was like the leading expert in angel tarot. And then she had an awakening and denounced tarot. So it's so crazy. So I'm going to read a card from the Starseed Oracle, because I do believe that this stuff, whenever I do this, I'm always calling in that only the highest love and light can come through. And this is a really fun deck called the Starseed Oracle. There's nothing like negative, and sometimes I do like the oracles a little bit better. So higher self, what message do we have from the Starseed Oracle, from the Starseeds, for anyone listening? So I just kind of tune in and don't overthink it. Sometimes I put my hand over it to feel like a physical vibration, and sometimes I just grab one because it can't be wrong. Oh, of course. It is the void, and it's like a black card going into looks like a black hole. So it says, stop, embrace winter, the great cosmic womb. Everything and nothing exists in the void. It's where all life begins and ends. It's winter and the womb. The fertile darkness where all things originate and all seeds grow. Comforting and intimidating, freeing and daunting. It can feel both overwhelmingly small and huge. The void is where faith lives. The message of the void is to surrender to the unknown, to allow the fertile darkness of nothingness to nourish the new seeds growing within you, regardless of whether you know what they'll become one day. You're being called to surrender to the mystery of what's next, to rest and to allow the winter of your life to do the work for you, to hand over your control and trust that just because you can't see what's happening beneath the surface doesn't mean things aren't at work. The greatest weaving's happening when we find a way to surrender and trust that our life is being knitted for us, right beneath the surface in ways known and unknowable. Now is the time to cultivate faith and allow deep, deep rest. The void often surfaces at the end of a chapter or life phase, when we're called to let go of all we know and identify with. When you're in the void, it can feel scary and as if you should be doing something. However, when this card appears, it's a sure sign that the most productive thing to do is to relinquish control and surrender to the changing mystery. And so at this crown chakra, I will read the Starseed Soul Inquiry for you to receive a download from your highest self of how you might answer this question. How are you being called to surrender to the unknown mystery of your life? Imagining the information flowing in like a violet light, known and completely unknowable energy that will guide you over the next week. I guess we have a theme of surrender, and isn't that perfect for the full moon as we talked about going into the darkness? And honestly, like as soon as I said that, there was like this little reaction that I might have said fear, but then it is exciting because we have each other and there's nothing that we can't handle, and there is amazing things on the other side. So feeling this white light flowing down the body like a waterfall. All the colors of the rainbow shooting out your feet. Around to the top of your head.